My name is Paul Henry, Security and Forensic Analyst at Lumention. Welcome to our Patch Tuesday update for June 2009. At first glance, June's Patch Tuesday bulletin contains 6 critical patches, 3 of which address remote code execution vulnerabilities and require a restart. From an impact standpoint, this month will be especially disruptive for desktop-laptop management teams because of an Internet Explorer patch that requires a restart for anyone using IE version 6, 7, or 8 running on XP and Vista. This means that almost every desktop or laptop in every organization will need to also perform a restart. To help protect organizational productivity, patching teams should take this possibility for wide-scale disruption into account as they make their patch deployment plans. Now, additionally, this month will also be disruptive for organizations that have resisted adoption of the more recent technologies from Microsoft. Critical patches for Microsoft Word, Excel, and Office will impact users of the legacy Office 2000 suite. IT professionals should also be aware of the recent threat known as Gumblar, the recent increase in the wave of hacking toolkits that are also used to infect websites with drive-by malware yet again show the need to patch wide and patch fast. Now, June's Patch Tuesday, while being disruptive to the enterprise, perhaps also begins showing a bit of a positive trend, building evidence that Microsoft's security-focused coding practices have in fact improved the current code base, with the majority of this month's patches being rated critical only on legacy platforms and applications. Of course, the Internet Explorer patch being the main exception to this month. With so many critical issues, prioritization can be a little tricky. Let's take a look at a prioritized list of the bulletins that have been made available this Patch Tuesday. We start with MS0918. It's a vulnerability in Active Directory. It impacts Microsoft Windows XP 2000 and 2003. It's rated as critical due to remote code execution potential. The exploitability index is a 1, which would indicate consistent exploit code is likely, and a restart is required. Next would be MS09022. It's a vulnerability in the Windows print spooler. It impacts Microsoft Windows platforms. It's rated as critical and carries remote code execution capability. The exploitability index is a 1, indicating consistent exploit code is likely, and a restart is required. Next would be MS0919. It's a cumulative security update for IE. It impacts Microsoft Windows Internet Explorer across legacy and current platforms. It's rated as critical due to remote code execution capability. The exploitability index is a 1, indicating consistent exploit code is likely and a restart is required. MS09027 impacts Microsoft Office Word. It's rated as critical due to remote code execution capability. The exploitability index is a 1, indicating consistent exploit code is likely. It may require a restart. MS09021, this impacts Microsoft Office Excel. It's rated as critical due to remote code execution capabilities, and it carries an exploitability index of 1, indicating consistent exploit code is likely. It may require a restart. MS09024, it impacts Microsoft Works converters within Microsoft Office. It's rated as critical due to some remote code execution capabilities, and it carries an exploitability index of 1, indicating that consistent exploit code is likely. It may require a restart. MS0926 addresses a vulnerability in RPC. It impacts primarily Windows legacy platforms. Currently supported versions are not impacted. It's rated as important due to an escalation of privilege. The exploitability index is a 2, indicating that inconsistent exploit code is likely. It does require a restart. MS0925 addresses a vulnerability in the Windows kernel. It impacts multiple Windows platforms. It's rated as important because of the escalation of privilege capabilities. The exploitability index is a 1, indicating that consistent exploit code is likely. It does require a restart. MS09020. This addresses vulnerabilities in IIS. We've been waiting for this patch to be released. It impacts multiple Windows platforms. It's rated as important due to its escalation of privilege capabilities. The exploitability index is a 1, indicating that consistent exploit code is likely, and it does require a restart. MS0923 addresses issues with Windows Search, impacts multiple Windows platforms. It's rated as moderate as it's limited to information disclosure. It carries an exploitability index of 3, indicating that functioning exploit code is unlikely. It does require a restart. With the large number of bulletins provided by Microsoft for this Patch Tuesday, we clearly have a lot on our plate. You know, I can't emphasize enough how important it is, though, to take a look back at your network and do an inventory of the applications that you're hosting on the PCs and servers within your environment, and check to make certain that you've applied the most current patches to all of the applications available within your environment. The success of malware such as Gumblar and others really drives home the point today that day zero vulnerabilities are not necessarily our biggest threat. It's not taking the time to install patches provided by vendors for older vulnerabilities that seem to trip us up time and time again. We see vulnerabilities today in automated toolkits found on the public internet that take advantage of vulnerabilities that in fact did have vendor patches provided for anywhere from 3 months to up to 2.5 years ago that are surprisingly still very successful in running exploits in the public internet. It really is critical to take the time to do a full inventory of all applications within your environment to get a better understanding of where you really fit in a risk mitigation picture. This has been our Patch Tuesday update for June 2009. Thank you for listening.